It started to get noisy, but this time I brought my earpiece, so if it gets too loud, I'll plug this in so that I'm not disturbed by the noise. How y'all doing out there? Welcome back to the program. See if anybody shows up here. Always a crapshoot when you go live without announcing the video. So that's what we did here, just went live without announcing the video. So 30 seconds in and I'm all by my lonesome. That's how it goes though. Let me make sure I'm on a live chat over here. Live chat, there we go. All right, and nobody's here. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Let's double check, make sure what network I'm on here. Okay. We're still there. Hey, how's it going? There's people showing up now. Cool beans. Welcome back, folks. It is Wednesday. What is it? April 2nd. It's Freedom Day, according to Donald Trump. The budget passed. How did it pass? I didn't see the numbers. They were still counting the numbers. The Freedom Front Plus voted against it. So did the DA. So that's 87 and 6 is 93 votes. There was 286, so that leaves them short. So take away 93 votes from 286. That's going to leave them 7 votes short. They got the PA was missing one person. Well, that doesn't pass. You have to have 2-1 to pass it. Yeah, you did. So that passes, even though they didn't have enough? That's strange. That's strange. How does that pass? I don't understand that. If you have to have a majority to pass it. So it passed with a minority. That's majority of a minority. They didn't have a plurality of votes. How do you get that? I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of people didn't show up, so. Yeah, only South Africa celebrates a tax increase. And Europe. Europe's pretty. It's funny listening to some of the nonsense. Anyway, well, whatever, the budget passed or whatever. Less than 200 voted for it. But yeah, African math, exactly. It didn't have 201 votes, so I don't know how you pass something without a majority in Parliament. I guess you just need a plurality. I get the deal is you have to have a quorum, so I guess they have a quorum. And I didn't see anything. I saw a report about Dirk I talked about, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Yeah, but they celebrate the fact that they passed the tax here. So sources told News 24 that you must vote for the budget or the party will push itself out of the government national union. That's nonsense. There's no reason to leave the government national union. So Cyril Ramaphosa told his ANC caucus that the DA had been unreasonable in their demands and they're wanting things that are not acceptable. But all the DA asked for was accountability. Asking for accountability is unreasonable. Asking for fiscal responsibility is unusual. Yeah, the RAM will start to collapse now, I think. Asking for fiscal responsibility is irresponsible. It's demanding. I don't know what planet the ANC's on. They're so used to getting their own way, they're like petulant children. So Ramaphosa claimed the DA wants to be in government and also be in opposition at the same time. Not a surprise. Cyril Ramaphosa doesn't understand that they are ANC partners, not members of the ANC. Yeah, so Paul Mashatile said at this caucus meeting that it would be untenable for the DA to run ministries if they vote against the budget. Well, that's utter nonsense. People serving government who vote against their own government's position all the time in genuine democratic states. In a true democratic system, members of the ruling party often vote against things in budgets. As simple as that. Now, Mashatile threatened the end of the GNU if the DA votes against the budget. Well, the DA's vote against the budget. Has the GNU collapsed? No announcement yet. We'll see if it actually happens. And there is the first super chat. A sad day for us to working class support. Agreed, Ricardo Bezuidenhout. Absolutely agreed, 100%. Anthony, fixed misunderstanding the White House. Yeah, they claim that. Okay, I saw a report that they went there, Numos, but they didn't fix anything. They didn't fix anything. They went and they tried to lecture to the Americans, and that didn't go over very well. Yeah. So the ANC, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain what the African National Congress is to you, okay? I wrote my notes down here earlier. Well, it is today, Holden. The ANC is a spoiled child that has lived a gluttonous childhood, pampered with unfettered power, always getting its way, suddenly confronted with the aches and pains of puberty, and it can't handle puberty. Yeah, well, look, Numas, that's what they claim, but I mean, there's no way that they've repaired this bridge when they went there with a condescending attitude and said, well, we have to do this because of the historical differences. But the cognitive dissonance of allowing racist policies to be in place because racism existed in the past, when the vast majority of people that you're discriminating against weren't even alive, it's utter nonsense. Well, I haven't heard what Athol Tropas had to say, so I have to try to get Athol on to talk to me about the budget. Oh, the singing and dancing part was disgusting. Once again, I'll read you my commentary on the ANC, what the ANC actually is. A spoiled child that has lived a gluttonous childhood, pampered with unfettered power, always getting its way, suddenly confronted with the aches and pains of puberty, and it can't handle puberty. Now, City Press, back on the 16th of March, repudiated what the ANC's been saying. You're saying the DA is arrogant, but here's the problem. The ANC's been lying about the DA the whole time. So, the ANC has been lying about the DA the whole time. City Press, which is not exactly friendly to the DA, on the 16th of March reported the ANC had lied about DA demands for national health insurance and the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act for inclusion to approve the budget. They had the documents. They never, ever included that. Yet the ANC officials and cabinet members falsely claimed that to be the case. The only thing that was included in the demand to keep the VAT out that they wanted a concession on was expropriation without compensation. Expropriation without compensation. So the NHI and the Bella, that's just nonsense. ANC threw into lie and confused the argument and hoodwinked some of you into saying the ANC is that the DA is arrogant. Now here's interesting news. AfReform has called for international sanctions on Julius Malema for gross human rights violations for singing Kill the Boer. Wow. What I found interesting in the debate was the members of parliament wearing camouflage uniforms as if they're actual soldiers. It's disgraceful, it's stolen valor, and it's comical to see members of the MK party dressing up like little tin soldiers pretending to be soldiers in parliament. It's ridiculous. Yep. So, the DA and EFF, before the budget debate began, requested that the budget be withdrawn. Speaker Tokoloto Didiza refused to accept that. So the DA, MK, and EFF slammed the budget as flawed. Now this one's good. Listen to this nonsense. The Pan-African Congress leader, the Minister for Land Reform and Rural Development, Minister Bezuidenhout Nyongkotso, said that the PAC supported the budget, and this is what he said. We can't be told by our former oppressors that they are fighting for the poor. Now, is that not racist and bigotry of the highest order? The Pan-African Congress leader is talking about oppressors. There's only one member of the South African Parliament that is served under the old regime. One member of Parliament. Does anybody know who the only person in Parliament that served before 1994 that's sitting in Parliament today is? One person. No one else in that Parliament was there before that. Does anybody know who that was? Anybody know who the only member of South African Parliament that is in Parliament today that was part of the oppressor regime? That's right, Art. Corné Mulder from the Freedom Plus. He's the only member of Parliament. So for the racist commentary to come from Zwanele Nyonso from the Pan-African Congress claiming that we cannot be told by our former oppressors that they're fighting for the poor, there are no former oppressors. The only person in the previous government is Corné Mulder. The other 399 members of Parliament arrived after the new dispensation, and over half the country was born after the new dispensation. So what former oppressors are you fighting against? This is nonsense. Just race hustling. Racist bigotry from a dishonest politician or an utter fool. You take your pick. You take your pick. Only one member of Parliament was in Parliament before 1994, and that is Corné Mulder. Yeah, I noticed a lot of DA names weren't even called in the sequence, in the order, because I went through the parliamentary list of all the people in Parliament, and I watched as they called. They went ANC, then DA, then MK, and then I gave up listening to it. There were several members of the DA caucus whose names weren't called. So, MK rejected. So when they call for whether people accept or reject the budget at 10:53 my time, which would be 4:53 in the afternoon South African time, only the MK party got up and openly rejected the budget, during which time the person leading Parliament said, we'll have a manual vote. It took a 10-minute timeout, and then people came back in. It was ridiculous what happened there. Tani Pat, Patricia DeLille, tourism ministry, said today saw the birth of a new doomsday coalition, the DEA, EFF, and MK. Tani Pat is the ultimate chameleon, a disgruntled, bum-hurt person who can never settle on where she's at. She quits one party, forms another party. Quits that party, forms another party. Joins the DA, quits that party, forms another party. She's the ultimate turncoat. And she's talking about the birth of a new doomsday coalition, as if the DA, EFF, and MK are in cahoots. They're not. She's just a fraud, just another mouthpiece that talks for the ANC government, pretending to be something she's not ANC. When an MK member of parliament asked Tani Pat if she's taking questions, DeLille said, no, suka. No, suka. Scram. Talk about impolite and rude. Enoch Gondwana lied about the DA shifting the goalpost. This entire budget debate was a farce, an absolute farce. One comment on News 24 is exactly what I've been saying for years, and this is a comment made by an anonymous poster there. It said, the person says the party list system is suboptimal. It isn't giving us strong or competent voices. It's it's rewarding loyalty over ability. Party first, country second. I've been telling you that's a major problem with the South African political system since 1994. Is it's a corrupt system in favor of political parties, not in favor of the citizens. So MPs, and at least one MP entered the session after the doors are locked, and you can see a lot of them didn't make it back in. So there was utter chaos that broke out when the DA pointed out that a member of the MK party seated in front of him had come in after the doors were locked. Chaos erupted in the hall, with the EFF and MK screaming, out, 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 out. I don't think the DA is leaving the GNU. It was a PA MP. Rapio Tokodim was the person. So Gate McKenzie got up and screamed into the microphone so loud that it was drowned out. We couldn't understand a word he was saying. He overpowered the microphone. Then when he finally calmed down, he said, well, how can my member of parliament get in the door if the doors were locked? So sad. Sergeant Arms was called to remove the MK, or not the MK, the PA MP. Wow. And then in the course of this, clowns would get up from the MK party complaining about things and someone else. And the person controlling parliament said, take your seat. There's rules here. Are there really rules in the South African parliament? One has to wonder. In other news, former Costa Rican President Oscar Arias Sanchez, who was president of Costa Rica from 1986 to 1990, and again from 2006 to 2010, and also Nobel laureate for brokering a peace agreement in Latin America, had his visa revoked by the Trump administration. Why is the DA a coward? I don't understand why people are attacking the DA. They stood up for no tax. There's a lot of comments here attacking the DA. Why are you attacking the DA? I'm the last person to defend the DA, but what did they do wrong? Yeah, the cadres celebrate increasing tax on the poor. They're stupid people. In the case of the first time in decades, democracy in parliament is starting to work. No more single party. No, I don't think so at all, Pat. I think it's a joke. We live in a circus, yeah. There'll be victims in their own eyes forever. You're right, Gil. Private security sector. I haven't looked into that, Sonia. Yeah, they're singing because they're going to have more money to steal. Yeah, there's Salem's Cave quoting Thucydides, the strong will do what they want and the weak will suffer what they must. Thank you, Barry. Yeah, what a mess. It was an embarrassment, to say the least. I don't know what legal action DA can take. Poor will get poorer. You're right, Sanil Maharaj. It was a clown car show. Can't take them seriously. Oh, look at that. The Rand is collapsing as we speak. People are updating it real time. Almost 19-1. Thank you, Johan. All remote U.S. employees are smiling. Yeah, because their dollar is getting worth more. I didn't see the Trump interview. Well, apparently the budget passed, but they didn't have 200 votes. A lot of people were locked out because they didn't get back in. One got back in and she was kicked out. Big uproar from MK and from EFF. Just another source of money. Yep. Yeah, Johan, I didn't watch all of it. I watched while I was working. I had it playing in the background, listening to it. It was ridiculous. About an hour and a half of it I caught. When can I leave, says Tom Hawk. After watching that clown car show, Timmy says, one thing is very clear. The world, leading the world is the best circus, yeah. I'm not sure what legal action they're taking. No rules in the parliament. Yeah. Well, Bram, I caught part of it. Tiny Pot is a racing snake. She signed the ANC, then opened Good Party, only shadow ANC. Well, don't forget she started the Independent Democrats, then she joined the DA, then she left the DA and she founded Good Party. She's the ultimate turncoat. And tell adults in the parliament there are rules, exactly. Lost a lot of respect for Gaten, seriously act like a fool. He did act foolish there. Don't degrade clowns. Eastern Cape school principal is not a suspect in a rape. 7-year-old says Afro missionary no. Yeah, and then the ANC accused them of protecting a pedo, so I don't know what's going on with that situation. Most disgusting thing was them celebrating this. Yeah, exactly, I'm with you, Engagement. They're celebrating that they passed taxes to steal from the poor. Because the consumption tax, the VAT tax, will affect everybody, but it affects the poor disproportionately. Because everyone pays the same rate. With income tax, if you don't make a certain amount of money, you don't pay taxes. But with VAT, everyone pays a tax every time they buy something. So it affects the poor the most, and it affects staples, things people need to survive. Yeah, why exactly? I don't understand why people are attacking the DA. I'm with you, Mari. The DA fought to prevent it. For this matter, so did the EFFMK, but not for reasons that make sense, just because they're being contrarian. I think we should be, the Freedom Front Plus apparently voted against it. The DA voted against it. MK, EFF, I don't know who else voted against it, but the little scumbag parties that are looking for attention, like Good and Rise and Zanzi, and those guys, apparently they voted for it, but I have to look and see at the final vote. The EA, we were going to pass it if they got EFC. Well, Virtual Western Cape, put this in perspective. If the ANC had withdrawn, I don't know how you do that, by the way, it's a law now, but if they had withdrawn EWC, that would have been worth a 1% VAT hike. Absolutely. Because EWC is going to eviscerate South Africa's economy by abrogating property rights. It's much more important than a VAT tax. Yeah, ActionSA betrayed South Africa, yep.
They did.
Circuses have trained people. DA did the right thing. People remember those who voted yes. I don't think they will, Sanil Maharaj. People forget things very fast. They forget, anybody who votes for the ANC clearly can't remember anything because they should never be voting for ANC. They'll drain the treasury dry, yep. Yes, you need Doge. Madi Fundameva says, I feel so ashamed for our country's behavior. We're not brought up this way. Well, your parliamentarians are. I did hear part of what Gaten said, but I didn't hear his speech. I just heard him get up. What did he say in his speech? I'm all right, Kevin. The DA promised to stand against a lot of laws like Bell and land reforms, so they were cowards. Yeah, well, okay, Vanessa. The problem with that is that the DA did stand against Bell. They did stand against expropriation. But the bills were passed by Parliament when they didn't have as many seats as they have now. So people, I'm not defending the DA, but you have to be honest about this. The DA has been useless in arguing against it and trying to get Ramaphosa not to sign the bill. But they weren't useless in fighting it in Parliament. When the bill was in front of Parliament, they opposed it. They went to court to oppose it. So I'm really not sure why you're angry with the DA. There's a lot of reasons to be angry with the DA, for inconsistency, for their lust for power, but blaming them for EWC and for Bello, that's not reasonable, because that was passed by the previous Parliament, and they did fight it. What about secession? Well, I think that the Zulus might want us to see before Western Cape. We'll see. Wow, it's up to 18.8. You've seen the Gazette attempting to pass. People are talking about that, but I have not seen it. I'm busy following the budget today. Yeah, cheering of ad increase is sick. Total shit show. The ANC is not for the poor. They will eat from the gravy train. Yeah. Well, the thing is, Kwesi Marada, what's happened is that they've stolen all the money from the middle class and from the rich whites. They've gotten all they can milk out of the economy. Now, just like Zimbabwe, they're turning on the poor by raising VAT. Yep. And they've stolen money from the IMF and from the World Bank, the African Development Bank, from the BRICS Bank, squandered $5.3 billion. What do we get for it? Nothing. And they've gotten every penny they can. They thought they were going to get the gravy train of the just energy transition. In other words, blackmail from Europe and America to pay them not to burn coal while they were burning it anyway. But Kremlin is the most intelligent, knowledgeable South African parliamentarian. Well, I would agree with that, Karina. He's also the one that was in the parliament during the apartheid era. The step is to take legal action. Did they not see the shit show regarding the Kill the Boer song? Hey, Cynthia. Well, we have no right to apply sanctions because of South Africa's budget. That's not right. We could apply sanctions to South Africa for its positions against our national security interests, sure, but not for their budget. That's an internal matter. We have no say in that. Yes, Andrew, I know she was a PA member, and I wrote her name down, but I didn't catch it correctly. Some of these names are very hard. She looked to be a Muslim. Right. I say Muslim because they're not Arabs in South Africa, they're Muslims. So I wrote her name down. It was something Rapio Takodine or something like that was her name. Well, Derko put a statement out, but there was a news report on it yesterday, and I also did an analysis of their visit, a rather sarcasm-laden analysis, because of the claims by Daily Maverick that Afro-Reform Solidarity had no proof that they actually visited people in the U.S., which is ironic because MK filed a treason case for them. How can there be treason if they didn't talk to anybody? 182 to 194. Well, Gayton has always been a person that's questionable. I mean, that's probably why he hasn't come on my program. I've never invited him personally because I don't have his contact, but I did request through his party, and I was never given an answer. And then someone else promised to get him on that's close to him, and I've yet to hear from Gayton McKenzie or his PA. So he's welcome to come on the program now. Thank you, Lucky Smith, for becoming a member. Is this C-17? Yeah, C-17s are en route. Stuart Lennox is saying he's calling Malema racist. What do you think? I don't think Malema's a racist. I think he's a political opportunist. He's a chameleon. He'll say what he has to get what he wants. Yeah, I don't think she might have been PSC, but she's been to like 5 political parties since the end of the apartheid. Kevin Barrett, please like the stream. Yeah, please like it. All the caters to continue looting and patrons, that was essentially what the vote was all about. Athol Trollop as politician is only interested in power. We don't know what deal. I'm very confused about Athol Trollop. I'll reach out to Athol and see if I can't get him on. Ronaldo just said the DA also had terms they would need to agreement. Yes, they would have. Well, they would have, yes, Gordon. I've reported on this already. Oh, frustrating. I've already reported that the DA would have accepted a deal of the 0.5% VAT increase if they could get expropriation without compensation taken off the rolls. Yeah, well, and I would agree with that. I'm for that. Oh, yeah, procedure. Yeah, well, I think they were right about that. They're not in the States unless there's a new team here on Vice. They're not here. That was last week. Yeah, it was just too much idiocy in that session. Lawrence from Copenhagen says, okay, welcome, Lawrence. Oh, both to vote against it? Okay, my bad, Julie. William says he's disgusted these people are tired. Yeah, I'm with you. There's no bell ringing here. You might want to get your hearing checked. It might have been the stove in the kitchen. Yeah, no one should be surprised by this. I'm all right, Andre. Thank you so much for being here. So disappointed. I'm ActionSA and ANC. Oh, you're so disappointed ActionSA and ANC. The parties I thought were different. No, they're not different. Most of these politicians are just in it for themselves. Self-enrichment, self-aggrandizement, and craving political power. Self-enrichment, self-aggrandizement, craving political power. That's what most politicians are in it for. You do have too many parties, that's for sure. Hey, Sam. We're in a shit show with 0% ice cream. Nellie Mostart says 70 Rand. Thank you for all your time, Chris. Much appreciated. You're very welcome, Nellie. It's my pleasure. Spineless DA. What's the use of mentioning courts? They can't even protect us. Today's Liberation Day. Support POTUS and MAGA. Bring back fairness to America. I'm with you, Alan. ATM vote against it. That's interesting, Gamer. Interesting. That is interesting. Fort Harris Syndicate. Yeah, this story's been talked about for a long time. Do they have evidence of it now? I saw that story reported for several years. I've talked about it in the past, but not recently. Gayton just said he fought for the DA and the Jew, but has changed his mind now. Well, we're gonna have to dissect what Gayton McKenzie had to say. I don't know how the ACPD voted. See, what's frustrating is that the news coverage from South Africa doesn't run a tally up there. In the U.S. Congress, C-SPAN or whatever, if they're covering these votes, what they'll do is they will put up the vote tallies that goes along. That wasn't done, so it was hard to keep track of it. I was following along the parliamentary website with the photographs of all members of parliament, but the data network wasn't that fast, so it was slow loading and loading some of the images. So ANC members vote no. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd like to see who voted. Yep. Really don't worry about the budge. I'll be moving to the U.S. as soon as possible, says Kitty. Well, awkward, Leon. I get where you're coming from, but what's achieved by that? Yeah, the DA needs more transparency. They also need a thicker skin. And John Steenhuisen leads to stop being leader of the party. Either be Minister of Agriculture, a member of Parliament, or leader of the party, not all three. Somebody Motke's in the chat. Speaking of which, the Varsity Cup is coming to a conclusion. So Motke's is playing UCT, if I'm not mistaken. Tux is playing Shimla's. So how does this work for the final? So if Motke's wins and Tux wins, since Motke's had more points than Locke, does that mean the final will be played in Stellenbosch? Is it going to be on the 14th of April? I'm guessing, because the 7th is the semifinal. Does anybody know the answer to that? Where will the Varsity Cup final be played? Will it be at the highest ranking team that finishes in the semifinal? That would be my guess, but I don't know. And if it's the case, can somebody get me a ticket? Let's not pretend that anyone will or can stop the ANC from doing whatever they want. Not DA, not Trump. They'll just keep getting worse. Nearly lost elections. So, yeah, exactly. Gate was on about first bashing the DA, and then he was on about that DA must not leave the union, nothing about the topic in question. Yeah, well, it just shows you how desperate they are to keep the DA in the GNU, because without the DNA, there is no GNU. ANC's out of touch with people. If they bought their own groceries and filled their own tanks, it would no expensive. Yeah, exactly. Court in Dallas, how's it going, man? Trump is speaking? I didn't know that. Probably going to talk about Liberty Day. Yeah, if the Zulu get their freedom first of secession, it will pave the way for Western Cape. Michelle Heath, thank you for your membership. And thank you for using your member anniversary chat. Who's that, Braun? Welcome to you. There's a bill now wanting to ban private security. But see, that's going to be impossible. First off, why in the world would you ban private security? There's 750,000 people in the private security sector. You want to add 750,000 people to the jobless ranks? I mean, that's beyond stupid. Why would somebody even consider doing that? Businesses will fold up and leave if they can't provide security. What is 5.3 billion? Yahamba. Really, he said that. I didn't see that. Oh, the poor didn't loot before, Dr. Clue. It was everybody. Cops looted, military looted, politicians looted, wealthy looted during July 2021. Political party not having the controlling seats are acting like they have full control going forward. Exactly. That's what I said, and that's why the DA is cowards. The DA never should enter the government national union unless they demanded the finance ministry and at least one of the security cluster seats, like the military, or more importantly, the police. I think the DA should have argued for foreign ministry, finance, and the police. If they had gotten those three, then we would have had a real government. But since the DA is neutered and doesn't have a real ministry, what do they have? Home affairs, it's broken, they're fixing. They have agriculture, it's broken, they're fixing. They even took land reform out of there and gave it to the PAC, those communists. Yeah, I'm curious what the sellout price for ActionSA was too. And also curious about why people are saying that the VAT is not going to increase, but now we're hearing the VAT isn't going to increase. I really don't understand that at all. Yeah, sorry, you're right, Jordan, you're right. They have to keep up their flub. Hey, Erica. Stephen Orkia. Can you please explain the cumulative cost of VAT increase from raw material to finished product? I'm not sure what you mean unless you want to say to me, okay, so if I mine iron and I sell the iron, there's a VAT on the iron. So let's say the iron costs 100 Rand, the VAT is 16%. So for 100 Rand, now it's 116 Rand, okay? The person who bought the iron takes the iron and mixes it with coke and other things, turns out steel, then sells the steel on, okay? After paying the VAT on all those other items. So already paying 16% for the ingredients, then makes the product, then sells the steel to someone else. Then there's another 16% on top of that for the person who buys it. Then the people who buy the steel use it to make products, to make girders, to make door frames. They sell that onto a wholesaler, and that sale 16%. Then that thing is sold on to a retailer, and it's another 16% for sale again. So you already got 4 times that take a 16% of the value of the product. So suddenly it's like 80% more. Then you buy it, and you pay 16% VAT. 5 times, at least. Is that what you want me to talk about there, Blue Meanie? I'm sad about ActionSA's decision. If there was no VAT, the DA proposal would have boosted the economy instead of the status. Things like port and rail devolution. Gil says, support the DA is the most viable option at the moment, but they've always seemed to be one step behind every major decision. I think you're right about that. Corbin Dallas. Lilo Dallas, multipass. Annette Apple, welcome to you. Yes, I know he has him on at 7 because he's supposed to be on with me at 7. But you delayed me until tomorrow. What possible reason can one have to celebrate like that because you managed to increase tax? That's a very, very simple question to ask. Yeah, please hit the like button, folks. 510 likes. 884 people currently watching. DH is the other chief of the ANC bun. Dean Janssen says, this is me moving my wealth overseas before even considering moving. There you go. Hey, Georgina. Vaga, how's it going? We have an already bloated government. This only feeds more. Yep. Yeah, more people are getting interviews, Irene. That's correct. So we're still in the exploratory phase, though. Yep, they just passed the budget. That's what we're talking about. No, it's not broken, TNT. Refresh your app. pull down from the screen if it's a Android system, or if you're on a browser, refresh the browser and it'll update. It doesn't always update. I don't understand why Rob is stuck on Gate McKenzie. I don't think U.S. military is going to be deployed to South Africa now. There's no basis for it. Chucking down with rain in Durban. How's the weather? It's overcast and it's cold. It is cold. A couple days ago we're sweating out here, and now it's freezing. And to be honest, the way that they treated Ronaldo and Roman was very slimy. Yeah, no, Odins, I don't disagree with your opinion. I just asked why people rubbishing them for today. I don't think they did anything today to deserve scorn. Plenty of reason to have scorn with the DA. I've said that before. Durko says ICG case was discussed with an appreciation that case will not be withdrawn. Understand the statement. Well, that is the South African bureaucrats telling you that they went and lectured the Americans about how it's necessary to racially discriminate against people who weren't born because of things that happened before their lifetime, and that it's just to apply racial discrimination to them. And they believe that they got their message across. I believe they're full of crap. Jasmine, what's my projection for 1 year from now in South Africa? Wow. That's a tough projection to make right now on the heels of this budget. We have to see how the budget rolls out and if it's actually going to be enforced. We are likely to see protest against this VAT by people in the streets. Ronaldo has been appointed to the Department of Agriculture's administrative team. Is that an April Fool's joke, Etienne? Gideon says, as soon as you invites me, I'm going. It's like they don't. What's something for rude awakening next elections? Yep. Athel's a sellout, people are saying. I heard about the proposal about the companies being. The government doesn't reduce state expenditure now, the financial system will. Yep. Yeah, you're literally the crap now. Yeah, this VAT increase is only for a year. That's nonsense. They'll simply put it back again. Valerie says DA should cut their losses and walk away. The DA is going to lose either way. Dardy, by the way, Dardy, you sent me some super chats in PayPal. I didn't recognize them. Thank you for that. Also, someone else here sent me a big super chat, and thank you for that, the PayPal ones. Well, Gerard, never regret having kids. Never regret having kids. That's your legacy.
So are you going to try to set that up today too?
I need all that.
Helen says, I want to get out of Orania before April 22nd. Helen, I didn't know you were in Orania. Why do you want to get out? You'll be fine. That's what they want, to scare you. All right, Gil did passport stay. ACDP vote against. That's what I would expect. Thank you for that update. While you're at the War College, can you explain the difference in job description between intelligence and counterintelligence? Well, first off, operative is a bad term. Let's not go with that term. Intelligence and counterintelligence, two different things. Intelligence is learning about all the things that can affect how you do operations, can impact on you. So that would be everything that's going to affect you. That could be the weather. It could be the environment. It could be a river crossing. It can be terrorists. It can be insurgents. It can be a formal enemy. So you learn all of their strengths and all their weaknesses so you understand how they can affect what you're doing. And that's intelligence. You bring that information in. You take what little information you have. You analyze it, and what's missing, you try to develop a picture of what is likely to happen. It's a very difficult business being because you have to determine information gaps. You don't have the information, so you've got to make a good estimate of what's likely to fill that gap. And then you have to project intentions, and someone's intentions can change. And they can say all the things in the world to the press, the public, but their true intention is only here. They don't even share it with people around them. So intelligence is a very difficult thing to be in, but very good intelligence analysts tend to get things right. Counterintelligence is protecting you from an intelligence threat. So if people are trying to spy on you, counterintelligence is finding ways to counter that, right? So you're aware of, and it covers all kinds of things. It covers cyber security, it covers human intelligence, it covers technical intelligence. So your job as a counterintelligence person is to stop your adversary from gaining information about you, identifying your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, and then their strengths, and then targeting their strengths. So that's the difference between intelligence and counterintelligence. I mean, it's right there in the name, counterintelligence. Eric, 140 rand, thank you. For Dwarf Wars, thank you. Single mom raised 3 boys alone. 2019-17, they want to go to the U.S. Brenda, single mom. That's a tough road to hoe. No, the ANC-DA are not part of the GNU. Even the trolls don't agree on the VAT increase. Rob Hershoff is advocating for McKenzie to be president. Where did that come from? I didn't see that. James Bowie says Cape Independence happened long before KZN. Really? Well, we've been hearing about this for 15 years. Hasn't happened yet, has it? ANC has 2 options. They can form a new government with other parties, or they can form a minority government. Exactly. They can rule as a plurality government, but then they have to put their bills in and hope people vote with them. "1% increase will cause trouble." Yes, I do, Joyce Scott. I think there'll be a protest. That's why when I was asked the question, how am I going to predict what South Africa looks like in a year from now, it's difficult for me to do that until I see how people react to this tax. If they just take it, then it's going to be a different projection. But if they resist it, I've got a different outcome. Yesterday when you recorded outside before going indoors, you were standing in front of a tree with the most beautiful white flowers. That's a dogwood tree, Meerkat. It's a dogwood tree. I also posted a video today from the same spot. You're correct, Chris. Final will be in Stellenbosch. Yes. Okay, Cameron. I'm hoping Matkes wins, and then the final will be at Stellenbosch. Somebody give me a ticket. As if I'm coming. Okay. Thank you, Red John. Yeah, the color committee does have a long memory. Gaten is done. Yep. You're pronouncing it as Mahdi's? Okay. Well, then why are people putting the game in? Okay. Advantage leader. That's what I thought. Any news on Trump's investigation, Southern? Nope. Thank you for sharing the video, Virtual Western Cape. Wow. Graham Stanton is got it out for Rob and for Gabe. I think I'm invited to a lot of brides when we have currency. Will I be invited to brides if I come to South Africa, Andre? Our VAT is up. Our import tax will probably be up too. Wonder if Trump will give us all tariff. Oh no! As of today, automobiles exported from South Africa to the United States now face a 25% tariff. And it doesn't matter if you're in AGOA, that overrides AGOA. So your Mercedes and BMWs, ones produced in Pretoria East and the Eastern Cape, now have a 25% price increase as of today. Heard Kim across YouTube video saying from Sightlander saying the US, yeah, no, Francois, that's bullshit. I don't know where Mueller's getting that from. Don't know where he's coming with that stuff. Gustav Mueller, I don't know where he gets that from. Promote who, Ram? Okay, thank you for sending me details, Jan. I'll get to that when I'm done here today. But remember, Wednesday's are a busy day for me. I normally have Ronaldo after this. I'll be going to Ronaldo in 5 minutes normally for Wednesdays with the Colonel, but that's not going to happen today. So we'll do that tomorrow. Also, my news broadcast tomorrow may not occur, or it may occur earlier or be briefer because there's an event that I have to attend at the hour that I would be doing this. So I can't be away from the consulting for too long. That's just my lunch break. So I'll have to participate in that other event. So I'm not sure if I have news tomorrow during the day. 2 billion rand of security for ministers, yep. The sound guy. Yeah, they were canceling a lot of microphones. Villain Pets are posting YouTube, build effectively ban private security.
Yeah.
Can you please explain the cumulative cost of a car, for example, with that increase? Yeah, it's 5% of what you purchase, whatever you purchase. But it's not just the finished product. The VAT goes on every aspect. The people who sell the plastic to manufacture parts for the car company, there's VAT on top of that. The people that sell the steering column, make it, sell it to the car company, there's VAT on that. Yep. That's why VAT's such a joke. It's ridiculous. It's just a tax. ISCOR. Boils down to everyone in the chain before the end consumer pays 60. Exactly. Thank you, Ilka de Village. That's what I'm saying. Everyone in the value chain for producing a product and selling a product pays the VAT. Everyone. So they just make money hand over fist, the government. Compound taxation, exactly. Well, it's just like the fact that your employer pays income tax for corporate income. They pay you salaries that came from that pot of money that they pay taxes on. Then you pay taxes on your income. If you invest that money to grow it in a savings or a mutual fund or a stock, then you pay taxes on that investment. The government just takes and takes and takes and takes. It doesn't matter what government is. Fabian says, no, VAT you pay the manufacturer purchasing gets deducted from the final product. It's done in monthly VAT returns. But you do pay the VAT. That's what I said. You're saying it's reduced from there, but you do pay it. Yeah, it can be claimed back, but it's paid in full by the end user. Exactly. Exactly. It's paid along the path. You have to claim it back, and not everybody always gets the money back. So, you know, you're correct, but you're quibbling. We don't want any of those things. More in favor of VAT increase than individual and corporate and tax increase, seeing as 80% of the country doesn't. Well, Arctic, you're right about that. It's much fairer for VAT, but these people claim they're for the poor, proves they're not. That's how the money's spent. Tux or Nicks. Yep. Hey, Mandy. Yeah, that debate was like a clown car show. Is there a separate chat channel and Telegram addition to the refugee page? Yeah, there is, Tina. I have lots of groups on Telegram. Does anybody, one of the moderators have the Chris Wyatt News or Chris Wyatt Updates or one of those? We have a few Telegram groups. Fewer than we have on WhatsApp, but a few. So if anybody here can share that, please do it. I can't do it from my mobile. Tina, if you pop on one of my other live streams, if one of my mods doesn't put it in there, I will get you the group. But I can't on this screen. I can't pull it up because I'll lose the stream. Hey, Mike's in from Philly. Elizabeth fixed all the problems that she had. Good news on that. Colonel, can you talk a little Afrikaans, says AJ. No, ik praat niet Afrikaans niet. No, I can't. I can read it and understand it, but I can't speak it. Yeah, Erica, that's true. Farmers pay VAT on all the inputs, and then they have to sell it VAT free because it's food. Yeah, that's not fair. You're right. Even if all white South Africans left, they would still blame the white man. Exactly. There's almost no whites left in Zimbabwe. It's 20,000 or so. $18.90 per liter for diesel. I was crying myself. It's just like Zimbabwe and beg for assistance. DJ Music was born in Rhodesia, living 50 years, have no online access, Department of Home Affairs, and other such, can't get an ID card. How about USA support Cape X and in turn USA get to be responsible for Cape Defense Force? Albrecht Mueller, I don't think that's going to happen. Heitner Schoenfeld, 70 rand, thank you for that. Just back from Mossel Bay, I need to get an update on all videos and chats. DA needs to get a spine. Yep. Well, I think the budget solution for South Africa is to contain spending, and that starts with reducing the number of ministers. That doesn't save a lot of money, but that's where you start. You reduce the number of ministries, then you reform government spending, and you start, putting an axe to a lot of things with just patronage. So much money is wasted through the system that this ANC has established for patrons that it's killing the economy. There are ways to deal with it, but so much is there that needs to be dealt with. Yeah, how long does it take for VAT claim to be processed? Exactly. So you guys say you get the VAT back, but how long? No time for lunch. Yeah, get some money for the Duran tanks. Well, that's not exactly accurate. The DA offered a compromise. If expropriation without compensation would be overturned, they would agree to the 0.5% increase. That's what they said. But they did oppose the VAT increase all along, so your information is not entirely correct. Meerkat, I already answered that question once. It's a dogwood tree. Welcome, friends, Flurry. Hope I have your hairline on your age. Yeah, no, it's pretty good, huh? Pretty good. No bald spots, thank goodness. Yep. I didn't say intelligence, project planner, not really. No, fake tanks is not counterintelligence, Home Office. Fake tanks is battlefield deception. You asking me a question about bank accounts? Rando's down to 1882 now, wow. And it's now after hours there, so. Can you tell us about by consulting? Sure, Amanda, that's a huge field the world over. Consulting services, it's a gamut of things. So consultants do all kinds of things. As a consultant, I've taught Department of Commerce. I've also taught the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency about Africa. I've offered business services consulting, help business plans and how companies can deal with business culture in different countries and how to conduct business in places, also strategy for them. Yeah, consultants that's why you have McKinsey and all these other big companies, and Deloitte, that's what they do, the consulting. But I'm an independent consultant, so, yeah. What is this nonsense you need a flight ticket to change dollars? That's not true. I've been to South Africa, I lived in Botswana. I changed dollars to rand and back and forth in banks in South Africa. And I know a flight ticket because I lived in Botswana. All he needs a passport. Right, you can hold on for a while, but once whites start leaving China, will empower them. Okay. The person even struggled to get your money out or open an account. Husband waited over a month just to open a new account, plus only close the old one as well. Can I show you the menu? No, there's no menu here. The menu is only up at the counter. There's no menu here. It's only up at the counter. Please update me. What was decided on the parliamentarian? And do you have another platform, USA, or the USA not aware of this platform? And the beyond amazing work you do. Johan, so what was decided in Parliament is that the budget passed, but it didn't have 200 votes. So I guess a simple majority was all it's needed because they had a plurality of votes. I think you have to have 130 votes in there to have a caucus. So if you have 130 people present or something like that, it's 1/3 I think you have to be present, then you can vote, if I'm correct. Anyway, whatever the case is, apparently the budget passed for South Africa with a VAT increase, I guess. I have other platforms, but they don't do very well. And most Americans aren't too interested in me. They're looking at little bouncy, perky nipples, and bleach blonde hair and tiny little bums with narrow waist, and that's what they watch. Or they watch people that don't know what they're talking about that claim to be informed in politics, and they get famous for that. So, anyway, no, I have viewers in the U.S., but not a big audience here in the U.S. MISO everywhere. Victor Hugo knows MISO, Military Intelligence Support Operations, Information Support Operations. But that's Special Forces, that's not intelligence. Ronaldo will be very unhappy. Did you watch the interview with Rob Hurst on Pinhole? I did not. Mandy, don't hold us in suspense. What happened? What would make Ronaldo unhappy? What will make Ronaldo unhappy? DJ Music, Donald Trump has imposed reciprocal tariff, not reciprocal, but punitive tariffs today on automobile imports from around the world. Just did it to everybody. So the reason he did it is because, for instance, our cars that go to Europe have to pay a 10% tariff, but we only charge 2.5% for cars imported from Europe. Cars imported from South Africa have no tariff. So President Trump today put a 25% tariff on automobiles imported to America. On May 1st, there will be a 25% tariff placed on all automobile parts. That's going to be devastating South Africa. 145,000 jobs are directly tied to the 25,533 cars that are exported to America every year. And it's going to be devastating for South Africa. So, Durko says they went to the States to tell the Americans, please not do that. But that's not what happened. Already closing some work in South Africa. Yep, no doubt. Irene says, how are you not scared to come to South Africa? What's happening? It's really not helpful to put things like that in my chat, Irene. First off, I'm not coming to South Africa, so, please don't put stuff like that in there. Okay? Why would you ask something like that in the chat? You guys have piss poor operational security. I mean, absolutely piss poor operational security. You give away personal information in the chat, then you give away people's locations in the chat when it's not helpful. Please stop that. Yeah, they won't lower VAT. New legislative proposals basically almost completely prevent our private sector. Yeah, we've heard about that. Okay, G-Man, have fun with the Latani. Yeah, Aaron Smulman, it's not some countries take years. All countries take years. People sit in refugee camps forever, but you're not in a refugee camp. You're in an in-country, which is very different, much faster than others. 3 hours of my life gone watching that budget. Never see word from YouTube that you were screaming, but I'm here. Well, welcome, Charles. Yeah, 700 people found us nonetheless. Yeah, you pay VAT, and then while you wait for your claim to be settled, your rands are worth less by the time they come back to you. Thank you, Jason Fenton. Barbie, you never get notified of my show because it's intentional. It's a YouTube thing. It's called shadow banning. They're trying to limit the growth of my channel and my reach. I'm not the only person it happens to, but it's consistently happened to my channel. That's why it's amazing we went to 66,000 subscribers. You got to tell people about the channel, and people got to subscribe, and you've got to go make sure that you got the bell for all notifications. But a representative of the BS talking about the refugee program. Luckily, the experts seem to have listened to your streams. Oh, Heidi, I'm curious about that. You were on the radio today, you called in, and they listened to my streams. So why are they saying BS if they listen to my streams? Don't buy anything except basic essentials, yeah. Yeah, most of the 700 people who are here didn't get a notification. Which is stupid. I don't understand why YouTube does it. They're making a fortune off the advertising. They get 45% from the ads. And I actually made money this month with adverts because so many people watch my content and then they go ahead and shadow ban me. Stupid. They're costing themselves money. I guess I don't like money. Why is Marius's comments keeping deleted? Something bad going on there? We are not withdrawing from the G20. Where do you get that from? We founded the G20. And it's not Algoa, Dr. Clue, it's Agoa. Algoa is a bay in South Africa. I think if you're asking questions about refugee, you're getting deleted. Madam Kruger, thank you for the 14 rand super chat. All right, off to work, Bram, okay. Justin, Canada concedes President Trump agrees to remove all tariffs the U.S. does. Well, I hope that's true. Jan? Yep, Anton, Trump has done everything he said he would do. That's why hey, Happy Chappy, been a while. That's why I don't understand why people say, well, Trump will never do this. Well, of course he'll do it. Why do you have that impression? William, please quit asking questions about my location, okay? It's not very helpful. You know, if people keep this nonsense up violating operational security, I'm not going to have chat in the future, okay? When I do these streams, there'll be no chat, all right? Why do people insist on doing that? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I just said not to do that a little while ago. Did you hear about Educore colleges being deregistered? I did not. Thank you for that, Iron. Brian? What magic did I use to have a beard like that? What bear? I mean beard? You should see the beard when it was down to my navel. Oh, it's just me. And I'm not even hairy. I don't have a hairy chest. Yeah. Well, thank you, Barbara. I think my hair is nice too. It's also, so you should see it's very soft. Very soft. Beard, okay. You're late, Maud. We talked about this the whole time. The last couple of days, I did watch them. Well, thank you. It doesn't matter if you watch them live or afterwards. Thank you for watching afterwards. It's great. In fact, people watching it afterwards does help because it continues to drive viewers to the video because it has traction. What is Marius saying that keeps getting deleted? I can't see the deleted comments here. Elma, the reason I don't speak Afrikaans is because I don't hang out hitting on women. That's how you learn a language. You either learn as an infant, or you learn the grammar at school, or you learn it by hanging out, hitting up, chatting up women. I don't have time to do that. I don't chat up women, so I don't learn the language. I don't have time to improve my skills. I can read it. The language pronunciation is a challenge, yes, but it just takes time. You have to be in the environment. I learned German by immersion. But, every time I got off work, I was out meeting Germans and learning German. Julie says, for last year, I need to show my ticket to get bought. Well, that's for Thailand. That may be because, I mean, you haven't given me your circumstance, Julie. Where? Were you in Thailand? Were you in South Africa? You need to show your ticket, your plane ticket to get bought? It could be because it's not a highly traded currency and banks aren't going to keep it on hand. So, I don't know, maybe they have a requirement on it, but there's no requirement to have a plane ticket to convert currency or get foreign currency in South Africa. I've gotten foreign currency in South Africa. Well, banning private security in South Africa is the dumbest thing ever. 750,000 people work in that sector. So you're going to unemploy 750,000 people? What the dumb. Morning Shot says at the end of the GNU, it's premiering right now. Wow, Marius, I don't know. You seem demented in posting the same thing over and over again, whatever that is. Check my channel. I got a hit on mine. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, Shawnee. Thank you, Vanessa. The news leaked audio serial about DA is compared to see driving to a dead-end street, insisting they must now navigate a way out. Yeah, Johan, that's what I thought. 400. You need 201, but they wanted 194. I don't understand that. I guess you just need a plurality. Hey, Andy K, 40 Rand. Modest Venture just keeps trying. Mike Arnos here. Just thank you for taking time out making such good content. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Share it with folks. We grow the channel, folks. I did see the interview with Ben Shapiro and Ed Starts. Yep. How can you prove everything what you go through every day? I don't know what your question's about. Just block him, Erica or Arctic. Just block him. Give him a 30-minute timeout. Why you guys keep deleting his comments? Just give him a 30-minute timeout. I don't see his comments. What impact will the motor vehicle tariffs have? Well, we won't be buying Fords from South Africa. We don't buy a lot, but we won't be buying any. I've seen the interview, France Free. All right, Art, apparently you guys are attacking each other, so Arctic is giving you a warning. Either stop it or you get booted. Okay? My kinders are very happy. The woman at the embassy was very kind to them. Okay? Yeah, you guys are fixated on this private security being disarmed. This isn't the first time they've tried this. WhatsApp your channel to many on my side. Thank you, Martin. Yeah, you missed all the action, Stella. Anna Lecoq. Okay, welcome. Well, Chala, it's a country with 30 million people that's 5,000 kilometers wide and 3,000 kilometers deep. I mean, you can find great steak everywhere. Elizabeth Kruger, 50 Rand, thank you for that. Greetings from Helderberg. What a clown show parliament. Yeah. Julie, I don't know what you're saying, but you're getting blocked. It's not Algoa. It's AGOA. Good Lord, why do people say it's Algoa? It's not. It's the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, not the Africa Lovely Opportunity Growth Act. It's AGOA, not Algoa. Please stop saying Algoa. It's not Algoa, it's AGOA. Anyway, now I'm caught up in the chat. So, I don't know what's going on in the chat, but people are misbehaving, and my moderators are going to get spanked. Just give them a 30-minute timeout. Simple. We don't need people to bicker here. You want to bicker, then, go hang out with the DA or the ANC or whatever. But, they're just killing this tree over here. They're cutting branch after branch off of it. This big tree. Anyway, shame. Sad to see it all be cut off. It was a clown car show, definitely. So did the chat stop now? It did. It only went so far. Wow, I gotta go back. Wow. The consulting's boring. Okay, thank you, Charles. Well, I'm not seeing that chat. Tom McDonald's being attacked. I'm not surprised, but because you can't cancel all of us. You're more than welcome to try. You can't cancel all of us. We're standing here side by side. So you can't cancel all of us, because the internet ain't real life. It's modest. Okay, well, I can't see that. Okay. Zia says, I hear about all the troubles in Africa. That's why I ask you. Did you ask me questions? Yeah, I didn't see it because my chat doesn't show everything. Green Regulars place they can't police anyway, exactly. All right, Black Current, you're out of here. Take care. What we do because not all of us can move. Buying a new house and stuff, okay? I recall you saying that the Africana program should be ready for implementation by mid-April. No, that's not what I said, Numos. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. You're hearing what you want to hear. Speak for many when I say I'm ready. I said that the New York Times reported that by mid-April they will have developed the program, which means it goes to the president. If that's true information, then he must approve it. He can approve it immediately. You can sit on it for a while. But yeah, there should be a program established by mid-April, according to the sources in the State Department for New York Times. I said I could have had this done already, but that's just me. So yeah, it's probably, and then if that's the case, it probably won't be till May that it begins to be implemented. Demolition Ranch. I don't know what the Demolition Ranch is. Thank you, though, for that relaxing, positive energy. Trolls dropping like flies. Napoleon said 99% of the people are old. It's hard for them to adapt. A Goa will always stay a Goa, just like everybody else does. Well, Napoleon, you're incorrect. 99% of the people here are not old. Only 40% of the people here. 35-40% of people are old. Yep, most of the people here are under the age that's considered old. So you're mistaken. I have the stats. No Wednesday with the chat today with Ronaldo. He got another guest on, so he bumped me to tomorrow. Okay. There's a lack of ethics, that's right. Well, the financial politicians are idiots. They should know better. I get if my viewers say I'll go, but they should know better. Crypto Noob is here. Well, thank you, Freaky Sherna Scooby. Yeah, Joy. Well, some people are nice to each other. Oh, the tree blossoms. That's a dogwood tree. Yeah, Tom McDonald just doesn't give a damn, right? Thanks for changing mood. Okay. Oh, thank you, Hugo. I don't sing beautiful. I sing terribly, but you're very kind. Well, if I sing with a country voice, I do a lot better. All right, sorry to see you go there. Tina, is it Tina? Okay. Well, Herman Volker, we can give you 1 minute, a 5 minute, a 10 minute, 20 minute. We can customize and give you a 24-hour one too. We can give you as long a timeout as we want to. Yeah, I get emotional. We'll play the whole song. We were too young, too white. We're speaking our minds tonight. Because you can't cancel all of us. You're more than welcome to try. You can't cancel all of us. We're standing here side by side. You can't cancel all of us. Because the internet ain't real life. 2 million. Who's got 2 million? Christo, here's a timeout for you. My likes are climbing. Are they really? I doubt it. Yeah, we've seen it. Good to see you again. It is factual. Do you think it will come down to South? What will come down to South Africa? Where do 800,000 people go if South Africa becomes a failed state? Well, if you become refugees in America, you go to California, New York, Texas, Pennsylvania, Florida, and a bunch of other places. What do you mean? Where do you go? The EFF is successful in running because they're searching for relevancy. And the only card they know is race hustling. So they're playing the race hustling card. That's why they're obsessed. WS gave 140 rand, says, Knight, thank you for keeping us company and providing info throughout the process. If it wasn't you, we would have gone crazy by now. Well, thank you. My pleasure. Did you find someone to provide financial advice? Financial advice for what, Red John? Thanks for clearing up. So the Africana program hopefully ready mid-April, then implementation from there. Yeah, exactly. That would be my analysis numbers. The gun YouTuber. Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, no, that they shut him down. Yeah, I know you're talking now. Yeah, that's right. The rules on guns got so ridiculous for YouTube. They're cowards. Karen Honeycomb, thank you for becoming a member. What do I think of Iranian? It's a private corporation. They seem to have interest there, but good luck to them. That's what I think of Iranian. NDK gave 40 rand. Thank you for that, NDK. Not Wyoming. What do you got? Texas, okay. Cyberx, okay. It's the same with Nota Beloy. He is a clout chaser and he's doing all this race hustle to stay relevant. Exactly. These people who race hustle are irrelevant. Oh, Red John, I did have a financial planner on, unable to come on the program. So, no, I'm not going to get someone else on because we have people committing criminal offenses and threatening people's lives and threatening their businesses in South Africa. South African police aren't going to take any action against them. So unless these people decide to file a criminal case against the person who's threatened their lives, then they're not, so I can't get them on. So apologies for that. But sorry, Red John. But you do live in South Africa where people get away with threatening white South Africans, no consequences. Yes, I got bumped for Kali Krill. That's correct. Bless the rains down in Africa. Well, there's no correct one. Someone just asked if we had other Telegram channels. I don't know the names of all of them. I'm not on Telegram. I'm on YouTube. Welcome, Amanda. You have to follow the protocols, and you can only bring birds in certain places, and it's very expensive. Yeah, Zimbabwe's got problems, yeah. Well, Napoleon, that's not a hypothetical question I can answer. So if I'm an Afrikaner like you, do I own a vineyard in the Western Cape? Do I own a factory in Gauteng? Do I own a dairy farm in KZN? Do I live in a lodge in the Drakensberg Mountains? Do I live in Northwest? Yeah, so it's hard to answer that question. Every person's circumstances are different. And DK gave another 100 rand. Thank you for that. Yeah, the trolls are coming like crazy today. Alrighty, folks, I'm going to wrap it up here. We're down to 573. Some people are obviously banning us once they heard it. Kali Kriel's. Oh, Khan, what's your opinion on the Houthis and the fact that a lot of ships now traveling past out of Avoid Suez? No, it doesn't affect U.S.-South Africa relations. The Houthis need to be exterminated. They're vile, repulsive human beings who kill others and they have no place in a civilized world. So they need to be dealt with, and no one's been willing to deal with them. Finally, the U.S. is taking action. All right, so be sure to hit the like button before you leave, and we'll catch you later on. Oh, I'm a South African. I feel offended at how you disrespect my country. Okay, well, fuck off. Bye, fuckface. Bye. Piss off. I'm deeply offended to your dickwad and came on my program there, Martinus Bronkhorst. You know, you want to masturbate, go do it elsewhere. Don't do it in my program. Bye-bye. How you like that? How you guys like that? You see the trolls pop on here. All right, so mods, I'm going to ask you to stick around for a few minutes and deal with the little hate wankers who try to put their garbage in here. So fake people now. So they've gotten more clever. The trolls now try to create Afrikaner surnames like they're, because they assume this is a program full of Afrikaners, but this is a program full of everybody. Black folks are on here, Afrikaners are on here, Indians are on here, coloreds are on here, Americans, Brits, French, not many French anymore, but people over the world. So they're just bigots and racists and haters. So they try to use an Afrikaans name. Well, I just sent somebody packing because he was being a dickweed. Anyway, so, all right, I'm deeply offended about what I say about the country. I didn't say anything bad about South Africa today, so you can just piss in one pot and drink out of the other one. All right? Thanks to the mods for keeping it on. All right, you guys take care. I'll see you later on. Bye-bye.